talk to you about how to get customers and be happy. Now, I've been running my own business consulting agency for the last 17 years, and I've seen a lot in that 17 years, and I've seen a lot of emerging technology trends, and now is probably the most appropriate time for me to be doing this video because of the explosion of how technology is impacting on our businesses. With social media, we've got everybody has a mobile device in their hands, so your customers want information instantly. So that's not rocket science, and anything that I'm going to talk about is actually not rocket science, and a lot of it comes down to common sense. So here we go. My very first tip is this: when you're running a business, you need to know what it is that you want. Now, I know you might be standing there going, oh, duh, I know that, but a lot of people often don't know that. They know that they want to run a business because they want their life to be flexible, they want to have freedom of time, they want to spend more time with their families. Ironically, what happens is they end up working in the business really long hours and don't get that elusive time that they've been looking for. So my very first tip is know what you want. Now, for me, you know, having been through, you know, the ups and downs of business, I only like to work 3 to 5 hours a day. Now, that 3 to 5 hours actually makes me really super productive because I know when I go into the office or when I'm going into work mode, I am full on in that moment doing that work, being productive. It helps me eliminate any procrastination and any distractions that might come in during that time. So the very first thing you need to know, what is it that you really want? Is it more time? Is it more freedom? Is it more money into your business? What is it that you really, really want? So my second tip is a really important one. In fact, it probably should be number one, and that is this: you have to learn how to put yourself first. Now, I haven't always been a gold star in that area. In fact, I've been a little bit spasmodic over the years, and I'd actually gotten out of the practice of eating well and exercising and you know, looking after a good mindset to run my business. And what I ended up doing was putting everything in the business before anything else in my life. And I started to work really long hours, and I started to not manage my social life very well. I had a few family issues that popped up, and when that popped up, everything fell apart because all I wanted to do was be with my family and put my family first, and I couldn't do that because I had all these other things going on, and it was a little bit like a house of cards. And about 12 months ago, I drew a line in the sand, and I decided that now was going to be the time to master my health and my overall well-being. And what I really realised was that it doesn't have to be hard. You know, a really great mate of mine who's a wellness entrepreneur in the States, a gentleman called Coach Cobb, gave me some really simple tips. He said, move every day. Eat well and think well. And they've been the best 3 tips that anybody's ever given me. And the gold star tip of all of that was that he said to me, when you're eating your food, put your fork down. And it's changed, revolutionised my life, because now I'm a lot more mindful when I eat. So I'm more conscious of the sort of food that I'm putting into my body, and I'm making better choices in that area. I still slip off the tracks every now and then, and according to Coach Cobb, you can still have a treat, which I love. But really, the key message here is that you need to take good care of yourself, because once you take good care of yourself, you can take good care of your family, you can take good care of your customers, and you can take good care of your business. So my third step is this: you have to ensure that you've got the foundation steps in place, because without a solid communication message, it's going to be really hard to engage with an audience or a potential customer. You also need to have a good solid brand, and your brand needs to reflect your communication message, and it needs to speak only to your customers, not to the entire world, because really, do you want the entire world as customers? I don't think so. So it's really important that you get, first of all, you get your communication message down, you understand who your customers are, and thirdly, that you're speaking directly to them with everything that you do. So all of your social media, all of your website, any of your face-to-face communication has to be in alignment to talk directly to the customer. And so number 4 is the big one. You have to understand how your customers think, because without understanding how they're making their decisions, it's going to be really tough in order to sell to them. Now, there's a lot of talk out in the marketplace. In fact, there's a lot of noise out in the marketplace around building your ideal customer avatar. Now, don't get me wrong, I agree that you need to have a profile and an understanding of who that customer is, and I'm a huge fan of that. But more importantly, you need to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, making those decisions. I'll give you a little quick example. Let's say that I was aiming towards school teachers and I wanted a school teacher to come and start a business. I would have to think about what they're doing in their day-to-day activities and how they're going to make that decision. And it might go something like this. One day I'd like to work for myself. I might talk to my husband about that. So I'm going to talk to my husband about it. We're going to have a little chat. And then I'm going to talk to my best friend about it. Then I'm going to talk to everybody else about it. I'm going to do a little bit of research online. At all of those points, your communication message to that potential customer will be different. But you need to understand what they're doing and how they're thinking about it in order to craft your communication message directly to them. It takes time, but it's well worth putting the time into making those decisions. Okay, so here we are, number 5. And here's probably, I know I've said this to nearly every point so far, and I'll probably keep saying it, so no apology for that one. But it's really important that you set time aside to think, grow, and develop. You've got to have time to work on yourself. You've got to have time to work out, what the next stages will be. You've got to have time to think about how you're going to craft your messages and how you're going to go about putting them out into the marketplace. And I can tell you now, you cannot do that in a busy household. You cannot do that in a busy office, and you cannot do that with a lot of the day-to-day distractions. You need to find time and remove yourself to go somewhere that you can think, and surround yourself with people that can help facilitate that process. So, some people are really great at doing it on their own. Some people need a little bit of a prompter. I know personally, I'm really great if I get out and walk around an area that I haven't been into. And I've been, just recently, I've been out exploring the United States, and I've been walking around New York City. I've consolidated so many of my business ideas while I've been out walking that I've then been able to come back and write down what the next steps are, and now I can go to my business mentors and discuss those because my thinking is clear on where I want to take the business. Really important for you to make time to think. Here's number 6, and I'm pulling this face because you might not like what's coming. And this is what it is. You need to know what it is that's holding you back. And we all know what that is. We all have that little voice in our head that says, we should do X, or maybe I should pick up the phone, or maybe I should exercise, or maybe I should. And we don't. And we think we'll get to it later, or just not today. And we'll find something else to put in its way. That sort of thinking is not going to move you or your business forward. You're not going to get customers, and you're definitely not going to be happy. I had been avoiding as I spoke earlier, I'd been avoiding my health and wellbeing issues until it got to a point where I had to do something. And what I'm saying is, don't wait for that time. Take action on the things that you know that are holding you back. Because you know what, and this is the thing I've learned, nobody's going to say you're a terrible person because of them. In fact, when you start to reach out and ask people for help, they're more than willing to help you overcome what they are. And as a business owner, you cannot do everything. You have to be able to learn the art of asking for help. Okay, number 7. Now, I'm going to tell you a funny little story. If I had $1 for every time I'd said this, in the lifetime of my business, I could probably be Richard Branson sitting on his island right now. I've said it so many times, and here is what it is. You have to plan for your own success, whether it's in your business or whether it's in your life. Now, I'm not a huge fan of big complicated plans, but I am a fan of doing a one-page action plan. You might note there I didn't say business plan, and I'm not rubbishing business plans by a long shot because they do serve a very vital role in a business. But what I'm saying is that you need an action plan to help you get through and achieve the goals that you want. Now I'm going to give you a quick formula, and I've used this formula in my for my health and well-being. I've used it to plan holidays, and I've used it for a lot of business success. Here's the thing. You need to start by giving yourself a word that's going to help motivate you. So it could be something like focus. And then what you need to do is identify 3 goals that are most important to you achieving right now. Now, I'm saying 3, you can have more, but let's just start with 3 and get the 3 down on the page. And here's generally how I go about it. I set a revenue goal, I set a business growth goal. So how many people do I want to add into my circle or my community within the business so that I can start to then use those promotions? And then the third one I set is a personal development goal for either me or the business. So is there something that I need to master or learn in the business that's going to help me move forward? So that's just my little simple how I set my first 3 goals. And then what I do is I look at what those 3 goals are and what are the 1 to 7 most imperative actions that I need to take in order to achieve those 3 goals. Now, by only selecting up to 7 activities, it makes me really laser focused and it helps me eliminate any of the distractions and the shiny objects, because we are bombarded with offers and ways to do business and let's try this and let's try that. But what we actually don't do is really hone in what's actually got to be done in order to reach our goals. So 7 simple actions, and it's going to take a bit of thinking. Back to that old nugget from earlier on, it's going to take you a little bit of thinking time, but it'll be well worth it. I do them in 1-month cycles so that I'm not planning too far out, and it just makes it easier. Now, here's the little bit that I love in this 1-page formula. As the very last thing that I do, I identify how I'm going to reward myself for achieving those 3 goals. And when I first started the business, I used to put things down like buy a new pair of shoes or, you know, have a massage. But now I've started to make those goals bigger and bigger. And in fact, I'm broadcasting this video today from New York City, and that was my reward for the goals that I achieved last year. So I'm actually in the States for 6 weeks, so it was a pretty big goal that I achieved. And yeah, so you just have to keep upping the ante on yourself and making it work. 1-page action plan, but you must plan for your success. And to use a daggy old saying, but it's still relevant today, if you walked up to the counter at any airline and said, take me on a holiday, the very first question they're going to ask you is, where do you want to go? So start your planning with that. One more thing, I nearly forgot. The most important one to get customers and be happy is to enjoy yourself. You have to build fun time into your business and your life. Look, I have a mantra, and it's this: smile every day. And from smiling every day, hopefully build that into laughter. There will be days that you don't feel like it, and you've got to sit at your desk doing this. And you end up pulling all these really stupid, crazy faces, but smiling really helps make a huge difference to your business and your life. Go out and have some fun, and I look forward to meeting with you soon. I get asked a lot of questions about how to build the foundations for a good, solid business, and that's
a good one.
I get a little.
Hey Ferg, hey buddy.
Gotta get a little lick.